You know the inner critic that sometimes runs the show? The one that makes you question your potential and the world around you? Well, I have been there too. But here's the good news. You can absolutely rewire your brain and shift from negativity to positivity. Hello, everyone. It's your virtual bestie, Simran, and welcome back to the show where we explore topics that inspire you, grow you, and make you a better human being. Today, we're diving into the topic that affects all of us at some point of our life: negative thoughts. In this episode, I am going to share research-backed strategies and actionable steps that you can take to overcome negativity and negative thoughts and live a life with more optimism and purpose. So let's delve right into it. Segment number 1 is all about understanding the power of negative thoughts. First, let's break down why negative thoughts can feel so overwhelming. Sure, you've heard of this before, but our brains are wired with something called negativity bias. What this really means, we naturally pay more attention to negative experiences than positive ones. Let me give you an example. Let's say you made a post online and you received 10 positive comments, but then you received this one negative comment and your attention went all towards that negative comment, but you forgot about the last 10 comments that you received that were positive. So this is what I meant, that we naturally pay more attention to more negative experiences than positive ones. Negativity bias was developed as a survival mechanism back in the day when our ancestors needed to stay alert to threats. So imagine we have evolved, but we haven't really optimized and really rewired our thinking to today's time. And fast forward to now, it often shows up in our everyday thinking, whether we're worried about failing a project or feeling insecure in a relationship. We're still in the survival state that we don't need to be in. According to psychologist Dr. Rick Hansen, this is really because our brains are like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive experiences. And what this negativity bias does, it can really lead to constant self-doubt, overthinking, and overall pessimistic view of life. But here's the empowering thing that you can do, and empowering part that I really want to talk about. Just because our brains are wired for negativity, that does not mean that we can change it. There's a term called neuroplasticity, and basically what it is, it's our brain's ability to form new connections. And what it does, it gives us the power to rewire our brain and our minds for more positivity. Segment 2 of this podcast is about the impact negative thinking has on our life. So when you're constantly entertaining negative thoughts, it really affects everything else. Think about it. When you're thinking about something negative, it's affecting your mood, it's affecting your confidence, the way you show up in your relationships, and even your physical health. That's right, even your physical health. So what I mean by that, because I've looked into so many studies, so studies have shown that chronic negativity, so if you're always giving power to the negative thoughts, what it does, it can weaken your immune system, also increase your stress level, and it can even make you more susceptible to illnesses. How crazy is that? No wonder when you're in that negativity spiral and mindset, you feel very weak. You feel like you're getting sick and you just can't get out of that negative loop that you are in. And what it also does, it can really put a strain on your relationships, because when we're caught up in a negative loop, we're showing up as our best selves. One of the key takeaways is that it's not about eliminating negative thinking completely, because that's unrealistic, first of all. But what we need to do, we need to learn how to manage them, because negative thoughts are going to show up time to time. We can't stop that, right? We're going to experience a lot of negativity in the world, and we will always thrown with negative news. There's always something fearful happening around us, right? But we can definitely learn how to manage it, not really let that control us. That actually takes me to the following segment, which is part 3 of this episode. So I'm going to be talking about actionable steps that you can take to overcome negativity and live a positive life. Let's dive into some powerful research-based strategies. And number one thing I want to talk about, which you have heard me talk about in other episodes, which is about replacing your limiting thoughts with empowering thoughts. Similarly, we're going to start replacing our negative thoughts with a positive thoughts. It's all about really working on your belief systems every single time. Number one thing, and the first step is to really challenge and reframe your negative thoughts. Psychologists call this cognitive restructuring. What you need to do when a negative thought arises, instead of just accepting it as it is, ask yourself and challenge it. Are there any facts to this thought? Is this thought factual? Often you're going to realize that these thoughts are based on assumptions or worst case scenarios that we have created in our heads because our brains are really wired for negativity. We're always scanning threat around us. I know I've talked about this before, but I want to reiterate this because we're really only going to learn this, and this information is going to get embedded in our head when we repeat it time to time. And so what you can do, you can turn it around and you can ask yourself, what's a more positive or balanced way to look at this, the what I'm thinking right now? Say you have this belief and you're thinking that always mess up and you made a mistake recently, right? You have this story that you keep telling yourself that I always mess up. I always mess things up. Oh, I always F up. You can reframe it by saying, sometimes I do make mistakes, but I learn from them. And there needs to be truth in it. As long as like you have done the work where you have made mistakes and you have tried your best to do better. So you need to also make sure that you're collecting evidence that you are reframing this new belief into a more empowering belief, and you need to keep working and tweaking and perfecting it every time. So like I said, instead of saying I always mess things up, you can say sometimes I make mistakes, but I always learn from it and I do better. What this practice is going to do, it's going to help you retrain your brain to think more positively. I want to make you think about something. How big of a role do you play in your own suffering? Think about it. When we are suffering, maybe someone has done something so wrong to us, but what is the role that you are playing in your own suffering? Are you making it worse for yourself? Because sometimes we do that. Number two, so in this segment, there's another way that you can really start to retrain your brain to think more positively. And what you can do, you need to practice gratitude on the daily basis. Gratitude has shown to counteract negativity. There was a study that was published in Personality and Individual Differences, and it was found that people who practice gratitude on daily basis experience lower levels of depression and anxiety and negativity. Because you are training your brain to think more positively. You can't always control everything that's going on in your life, but you can train your brain and mind to think for more positive experiences in your life. You can also start by writing down 3 things that you're grateful for on daily basis. And this trick, what it does, it can really help you focus on both the small things and the big things that are happening in your life, good stuff. And whether it is your morning coffee that you look forward towards, I love my morning coffee. And I thank myself and the universe for bringing coffee in my life because, first of all, I was never a coffee drinker. I used to drink here and there coffee, but now I found myself like coffee is something I look forward to drinking every single day, every single morning. And I'm very grateful for that. It's just the little tiny things that you're grateful for. And it could also be a kind text from your loved one or your mother or your sibling or a friend or a personal achievement that you have recently. And one of the things I actually find myself doing every single morning when I wake up, I tell myself that today is going to be a great day. And I actually am priming my mind in that moment to look for better things, for whether it's a small thing that happened to me. Maybe my neighbor was so nice. A random stranger while I was walking smiled at me. It's just the little things, little conversations that I'm making. So it's super cool that when you're training your brain to do that, to look for more positive experiences, you're able to actually attract more of those experiences, and you're able to dismiss the negative stuff, small stuff that you don't need to really sweat about showing up in your life, because you're training your brain. It's just like, you know, how you go to the gym and you work on your physical health, even though it really helps you with your mindset as well. But you can also train your brain by going to a mental gym. So this is how you will go to a mental gym. Maybe take out 1 hour a day, or actually, let's start small. Take out 5 to 10 minutes a day to really train your brain to think for more positive experiences in your life. Now, that takes me to number 3 of this segment, which is mindfulness meditation that you can do, which is more of like bringing yourself to the present moment, how you can stay present. And Essentially, what mindfulness does, it's a very powerful tool that helps you manage negative thoughts. Research from Harvard has shown that regular mindfulness, practicing mindfulness on the daily basis, can really help you reduce rumination, which, let me tell you, I remember ruminating a lot for a few years, and I don't know how I got into the mindset, but it did. It was just like repetition of like negative experiences in my life, but it also helps you with reduction in anxiety and depression, which is a huge thing, which a lot of people have faced for the last few years. Maybe they lost a loved one, or they lost a job that they loved, or they had multiple losses in their life, or financial stress and burden. So there's a lot of stuff that can really negatively affect you, and you need to understand that you need to put in the work every single day to prime your mind. So, what you need to do is by staying present, you need to bring yourself to the present moment and remind yourself that everything that you're manifesting for the future is happening now. All you got to do is sometimes observe your thoughts. So this could be a 5 to 10 minutes practice every single day. It could be a midday thing that you can do, a midday routine, like during a break. You can, if you are physically going into work, you can come out of the workplace that you're in and go to your car or go to a nearby park, somewhere that you can silent your mind, and for 5 minutes practice gratitude and practice mindfulness, and bring your thoughts to the present moment and remind yourself that you are present here right now. You can even focus on your breath, and you can simply observe your thoughts if that's something you want to do. Or you can look at the clouds passing by, and you can look up and look at the sky and look at the clouds passing by without engaging in anything else. And every time you feel like your mind is diverting you from the present moment, just bring it back. That's all you have to do, is just retraining your mind again and again. Number 4, you need to surround yourself with positive influences. One of the biggest influences on your mind and your mindset is your environment. I sound like a broken record, and I'm never going to stop talking about it, but there is a mentor. I'm sure you've heard of him, but if you haven't, he's also a mentor to my mentor, Tony Robbins' mentor, which is Jim Ron. And he famously said that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So actually, right now, today, think of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and think about their mindset, what their mindset is. Are you spending a lot of time with them? You're kind of taking on their belief systems, the way they think, they have the worldview. So you need to be really, really conscious of the people that you spend time with. Take stock of the people around you. Are they lifting you up? Or are they bringing you down? Seek out more positive and uplifting individuals who inspire and support you. And if you are the only one lifting other people up and filling other people's cup, and no one is doing that, you're gonna feel depleted. So you need to also find ways that you can fill your cup up as well, and someone is giving you energy as well, whether it's sometimes spending time with yourself and going for nature walks. That's the best way you can naturally bringing energy, doing things that you enjoy. If you enjoy baking, um, you know, just taking a time for yourself, that's very important. And the last one is self-compassion. I want to talk about self-compassion, how important it is, not just always about self-care and self-love, but you need to deliberately learn how to talk to yourself in the most kindest way possible. There's a doctor, her name is Dr. Kristen Neff, and she's a pioneer in self-compassion research, realm. She talks about that being kind to yourself when you experience negativity can really drastically reduce your impact on you. So instead of being harsh to yourself, think like a best friend talking to you in that moment, right? Talk to yourself like you would talk to a close friend who's experiencing the negative thoughts, and they're bringing those thoughts up to you. Also acknowledge that you're a human being, that you can make mistakes too, and that it is okay to have setbacks. If you're so caught up in all the things that are not working out, you're forgetting all the good things that you are doing good in as well. This will really help you bounce back faster from the negative loop that you are in. Segment number 4, let's actually create a personal positivity plan. The framework that I want to give it to you, and these are very easy to do things. I don't want to make this complicated, something you can start doing now. Now that we've covered these strategies in the past, it's really time to put them in action. And how you can do that, I call this a very personal positivity plan that we're going to create together today. And you can, of course, customize it. If you don't like certain things, you can eliminate it and add on other things as well. But let's not make it complicated and add on too many things. Let's simplify the process. For one thing you need to do, you need to set a morning intention. Like I mentioned earlier, I wake up every morning and tell myself, I'm going to have a good day. And, you can also even start your day with a positive affirmation or intention of the day. And sometimes it can go like, today, I choose to focus on what I can control and let go of anything that doesn't really serve me. What it does, it really sets the tone for the day. And if this is something you need to repeat to yourself every single day, by no means you should do that, and set the intention every morning when you wake up. Number two, this is something you should instill in your daily routine, which is practicing gratitude. It could be something like, you know, a 5-minute thing that you can do every morning or midday or before bed. Maybe you can just spend 5 minutes before going to bed and write down 5 things or 3 things you're grateful for before bed and reflect on the positive things that happened in your day, no matter how small they were. Maybe your mom called you and she said great things to you about how beautiful of a person you are and how great of a child you are. Or it could be your best friend saying good morning to you, and that just really lightened you up. Another thing that we can add into your positivity plan is practicing mindfulness check-in. So, what you could do, this is something that's my recommendation, and I have found myself doing this. You can schedule 2 to 3 minutes of mindfulness check ins during the day. And so it could be take 1 minute to focus on your health and your breath and, bring yourself to the present moment. So, this is how you're going to teach yourself every single day to remember to do this. And in no time, it's going to become your habit. You could also take out 1 minute to just observe your mind and kind of observe your thoughts. And it goes back to, taking a break midday and just stepping out of your work environment and just being present with yourself and kind of bringing yourself back to the present moment. Number four, positive people and media. Okay, what I mean by that, you need to limit yourself to the exposure to negative media. Okay, how many times you hear some negative stuff happening in the world and people are just, somehow you're going to find the information out. So you don't need to do extra work to sit in front of the TV and watch what's happening in the world, even though sometimes it's a good thing to know what's happening in the world, but every single day media is good with that. It's going to feed you with negativity. It's going to keep you hooked because that's how we're wired. We're wired for negativity. So it's very familiar for our brain. You can replace that time with more uplifting content, like podcasts, listening to a book, Audible, or videos that inspire you. This is something I do. And every single day I find myself learning something new or just reminding myself of things that I've always known or I have learned about recently. Is just a repetition. You have to make a conscious effort every single day to spend more time with more positive influences in your life. Last one, this is very important to me, and I know this has gone a long way for me with my journey as well. It is weekly reflection. At the end of each week, you need to just take out 10 minutes. Come on, you can spare 10 minutes out of your whole week to reflect on the progress that you have made. Even all the things that we talked about today, maybe implementation of that could be a reflection on that, right? You could reflect on all the things that you're implementing in your life and how much progress you're going to make in no time. Give yourself at least 6 months. We're very much focused on instant gratification. Let's put that on the side, right? I mean, we all would love instant results, but let's be honest, that's not just how the world works, right? Or else everyone would be successful. When you're doing this reflection, think about what negative thoughts have you overcome and what positive experiences and moments really stood out for you this whole week. It will keep you accountable and it will help you become more aware of the growth that you're doing this whole week and the past few months. Negativity doesn't have to control your life. And by being intentional at practicing these strategies that I just told you about can really transform your life and your mindset. And you can start living life with purpose and more positivity. And you need to remember that it is a lifelong journey. It's never a destination. You're always going to be working and growing. Progress takes time. Every small step that you are making, it's going to really help you closer to your goals. I challenge you to start implementing these steps today right now and watch how your life transforms and life changes for the more better, for the more positive experiences. If you found this episode helpful, like always, please share this episode with someone that you truly care about. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode and you are on this personal growth journey as I am. And I can't wait to hear more from you. So leave us a comment below as well on how we're doing and the type of topics that you want us to deliver. Till next time, I'm your virtual bestie, Simran Adderley. Stay positive, stay empowered, keep shining, and I'm sending you a lot of love and positive vibes. See you next week.